Hey, what is up, my friends? Welcome to episode 3 of the Tech Yeah podcast. Today we talk about the Apple Keynote and get completely sidetracked on a lot of random subjects. Just one note, if you wanted to reach out to us, send us an email, techyeahpodcast@gmail.com. And without further ado, hey, what's up, everybody? And thanks for joining us. Bill,
Tony,
how's your week going, bud?
week is going great so far. It's been, kind of a newsworthy week in the tech world, which we'll touch on. I had a couple of pretty good streams this week. We had the multicam sim to table episode last night, which relatively large group of people watched, which was fun. So we flew from Ketchikan, Alaska to Juneau while Julia made Alaskan salmon.
Delicious.
Yeah,
How was
delicious.
the salmon? Was it nice?
It was really good, yeah.
So is Julia is she a good cook?
She's she's okay. She's better.
Wow.
She's better at it. No, she'll fully admit she's just never used to cook. I used to always be the one that cooked. So she likes learning how to cook, and I think she enjoys making healthy things. So there's a little bit of a challenge and learning curve thing that she enjoys doing. And
Yeah, cooking's pretty fun. I never really knew how to cook growing up, and then when I was young, I worked at a restaurant. I busted, and they made us work in the kitchen.
nice.
And one thing you do is when you get into a kitchen like that, you learn techniques really fast, and it is fun once you start to discover cooking techniques because you realize I can cook anything this
Right.
way.
Yeah.
It's not about a food.
No, yeah, just ingredients and how you prepare them.
Whoa.
Obviously. But she worked in the hospitality industry for a long time in sales and catering. She never was in the back of the house stuff, but she was around it enough and worked closely with the chef. So she's serviceable. She knows what she's doing kind of, but she says that she doesn't have the touch. I can make something with no recipe and just kind of throw something together and it'll be delicious. And she has to go through the ingredients. She's not comfortable in what she's mixing together, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I'm definitely more of we'll put some butter in it.
Yeah, a little bit more, a little bit of this.
This
yeah.
meat's about done.
Yeah.
It's good. So we need some sauce. Let's make something saucy in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely an Italian way of doing it where you're just kind of feeling your way through the meal. And
I feel that's just a Latin way in general.
yeah.
Right? It's kind of
Yeah.
that. I think it's that. I don't want to say kind of poverty style of cooking.
What you got, whatever you've got laying around, throw it in there.
What's saucy? What's sweet?
Yeah.
What's a little salty? You kind of get it all together. And
Germans don't cook like that.
yeah,
It's a very un-Germanic way of cooking.
I think that's almost the most Mexican thing about me is the way I cook. Right?
Just throwing spice at it.
And then you just get a skillet, and it's just you get some protein in there. I don't care if it's eggs or I don't care if it's cold cuts. You cut up and throw
what
in
do we
there,
got
right?
laying around?
Yeah, throw some meat in there.
What
get
kind of
some
seasoning
starch,
do I have
Get some
left?
seasoning, right? And it's it's food. Let's go. Yeah, totally.
So having a stream full of aviation nerds, with Julia walking through cooking a salmon and all the different seasoning and stuff she's putting on it, they were surprisingly engaged in that. For that reason, I think, because a lot of people, may not be that into cooking, and it kind of just one more aspect of the stream that I think is kind of interesting. And technologically, it ran okay. I mean, OBS. Streamlabs is a real son of a bitch sometimes.
It is a son of a bitch.
God damn it.
But those dorks just love Julia, I think. You guys are very charming on stream. I will say, when I watch you guys stream, it's oh, this is nice. I can see the joy in wanting to kind of interact with that, right? Because it's fun, right? It's a fun thing. You guys are cooking and everything, and kind of being able to chime in as a third party in there. It's it's we're hanging out. Let's have a glass of wine.
It's really interesting, and I think it's given me encouragement to try to think of more ways to integrate her and to make it less about just the sitting down and flying a fake airplane. One of my followers said, it's I was watching you on my phone and now we're on the TV. So he was Chromecasting on his 70-inch TV, watching it with his wife. Something that, and this is her first time watching a Twitch stream. And it's dude, that's freaking awesome. We've crossed over, we've merged, we're bringing families together.
Yeah, it's amazing how how people are discovering Twitch, like older people, right? I was in a meeting this week actually, and we were talking about like an upcoming Twitch stream, right? And someone made like an offhand remark, like I'll say someone a bit older and maybe a bit less attached to what Twitch is, made an offhand remark that like, oh, is Twitch like some like I said, oh, like I was saying, oh, you gotta like engage these people, right? And they're like, oh, is Twitch like they knew what Twitch was, but like they kind of compared it to like a porn site, like a cam porn site, right? And everyone was like, no. And I immediately said, no, it's exactly like that, right? Like, not in the way where it's, nudity and all this, but it's like people are looking for like a connection to something, right? And like, it's far more about finding ways to connect with that audience and kind of satisfy that kind of missing thing they're looking for in their entertainment than it is about whatever game or flight sim or whatever that you're showing them, right? Like that's kind of the initial.
There's a component of that, but you're right. It's more about just because we have such a celebrity driven culture and using celebrity by like the definition of it, not the page 6 TMZ style, but like seeing somebody, listening to somebody on a screen or on your car radio or however you're listening to this, there's this weird like if you get an interaction with them, no matter how big or small, it feels kind of cool. You're like, holy crap, this guy responded to me, or they answered my question, or like, I think we've all had a celebrity or a big account like a picture on Instagram or retweet something on Twitter, and you geek out. You're like, oh my God, like, I got retweeted by, or someone read, like you just,
it's so like immediately like rewarding in a way, right? Like endorphins just pump. You're like, I can't believe this happened. Like, is this the future? Is everything about to change?
No matter how cool you try to play it off, or like, I don't really care. Like, celebrities are stupid. Somewhere deep down, there's a little bit of that, like, holy crap, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say, how do I put this? I'm not going to say I've spent a lot of time in adult cam rooms, all right? And I'm not going to say you have either, but I will say this, the chats are very similar to what you see in Twitch. It's not a bunch of people talking about, let me see your tits or whatever, right? It's far more... a
little bit more innocent.
It's a lot more people vying for the attention of whoever's presenting. And most of it is quite polite. You know what I mean? Like, sure, it can get grimy. You know what I mean? But Twitch chat gets grimy. But I think the initial contact, the initial effort to try and get a response or to get attention is usually fairly polite and complimentary. And I think Twitch is the same way. Most people's first touch will be like, hey, saw your channel, thought you were cool. And if you ignore them, then they're like, and you're a gaylord. You know what I mean? You're like, oh man, like I should have said hi at first. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's so interesting.
Speaking of, how is there not a porn version of Twitch?
Well, there kind of is. I mean, it's not for like gaming, right?
But why hasn't somebody said, let's make a porn version of Twitch where it's monetized the same way?
There's like with subs and stuff. There sort of is.
Like where you don't, because I've never looked into it. I promise. But you don't
have to promise. It's okay.
It seems like you would have to go through a bunch of stuff to get onto one of those sites.
And no, it's not.
No.
Mm-mm.
Like those cam sites, they don't have like you could just sign up and you're done and you just.
Yeah, there are ones that have like a onboarding process that's strict. There are ones that have like a bit style payment system where it's like, if you have a webcam, you fire it up, put in your payment info, and you can start collecting bits.
It seems like there's so many people now streaming on Twitch with cams, that could easily just like, all right, now it's after 10, I'm taking my shirt off.
I imagine a lot of Twitch girls do switch over, right?
You think so?
Yeah, I would not be surprised if a lot of people use Twitch to gain an audience and take that audience off site. And they use like, hey guys, I'm signing off, but check out my Twitter if you want to see where I'll be on later, right?
But don't you think a lot of those Twitch girls are, have boyfriends or husbands that are into the technology stuff and they're just using them basically for the easy money?
I that's hard to quantify, right? Because that's so like loaded with like, oh,
It's
your
presumptuous.
your boyfriend must be pimping you out on Twitch, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'm positive that happens a lot, right? Yeah. And I think that happens with I think that happens in every celebrity kind of touchstone, right? Anywhere in entertainment that happens.
It's probably really judgmental of me, but I just look at some of those ASMR things that like are somehow always on the featured homepage, and it's some chick with huge cans with a low cut tank top doing an ASMR video with like a stream overlay that puts any like big streamer to shame. And I'm thinking like, there's no way that this, model, this busty blonde model is going into Streamlabs or, setting up this Twitch stream on her own.
Yeah. But maybe like,
Again,
I would
presumptuous,
but I would assume what happens is you start doing that, you make some money, and then you just pay somebody to do it, or someone approaches you and says, "Hey, like, you've made a lot of money, but your stream kind of sucks. Give me X amount of dollars, and I'll set this up." But I think a lot of that could also be because they have a benefactor behind them. I mean, ultimately, like, that's what I would like to do. You know what I mean? Is create a network where I could be people's kind of stream benefactor, right? Like I don't think I'm going to be a popular streamer per se, right? Like, I enjoy streaming because it's fun, but really I like learning how to make that content and navigate that world. And it's the same thing with like podcasting or like all the other content I'm trying to make right now. It's far more about finding my own way to navigate through these systems, interact with them, and kind of encourage young people to make more content and kind of find a way to profit in that, right? Like not in a way where I wouldn't want to own any part of anybody's content, because I think that's so scummy, right? But find a fair way to be compensated to help people that want to be online, like navigate those things, because it feels so huge when you haven't done it before, right? Like,
super daunting.
Yeah, it seems so daunting,
Yeah.
right? But it's not. It's really not. And like, if I could have a space where people could come in and just like, hey, like I want to stream. It seems cool, or I want to be, like I'd love to be able to provide that in a way that is like safe and moderated and educational for people, and provides them a way to get their content out. Because I'll tell you this, like, with interacting with the people, the kind of mutual audience we have, and people that come from our other streams, a lot of these people really just need something rewarding in their life, or need something of value in their life. And I will say I've found a lot of value in streaming personally, a lot of affirmation that kind of the things I like and the person I am is praiseworthy, right? Because people show up and they give you, even if you get $5, it's just like, that's amazing. I don't think anybody ever give me. Amazing. I think anyone would ever give me $5 to be on the internet, And if you're a sad kid, if you're 17 and you feel shitty about yourself, and you're like, I love playing video games, but people at school just don't kind of get me. I don't know how to like interact with these people. If you could put yourself on Twitch and find people that really like responded to what you're doing and give you $5, that $5 is like going to change your life, And I think that should be available to people. I think we got to find a way, like from when I stream, like what I see is like that would be such a rewarding way to kind of make this full circle for me.
Yeah, it should be more. I mean, in going the other direction, older people.
Yeah, older people too.
Yeah,
it's
there's from, and we're going to keep hammering on the aviation thing, but flight simulators for guys, ex-military guys that can't fly anymore, that are not medically able to get cleared to fly, or have priced themselves out of it, or whatever the case may be. They're able to have that outlet. Same with, racing cars, same with, any of the more fantasy kind of stuff. When you start getting further down the road and some of this technology becomes more scary to you, having an outlet and someone kind of helping you along and showing you literally a whole new world of things that you didn't know exist that you can relate to and kind of have fond memories about.
Yeah, like even like my dad, like I now like when you say that I'm like I should get him into streaming, right? Because like my dad like loves he loves gambling. Like I'll be honest, he loves like slot machines. He loves poker. Like, and I'll tell you this, like every time I log on Facebook, my dad is online playing whatever stupid Facebook slot machine game is like the newest one. He is like such a junkie, and he's had to be like totally cut off from gambling, right? And he's he's in his late 70s.
Like, was he addicted to it? Like, was he?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. My whole family's so compulsive, right? So he was like hardcore addicted, but like I think about it, I'm just like, man, like if he could like find an audience and just play his poker games and make friends online, like that would probably mean a lot to him. You know what I mean? Like it really would. Like he's married, he has a nice little home like in the hills with his wife, but like anything, I'm sure he wishes he had some validation for these the ways he spends his days.
Even it doesn't even have to be you're the one streaming. It could be watching. It could be moderating or subscribing and getting like being involved in somebody else streaming. And that's what I see is a lot of these older guys that just like watching some of us younger guys streaming and learning different planes and different things, and they're helping us out and subscribing, and they're of means a little bit, so they're donating and subscribing.
I'm sure they love watching you, Bill.
Oh, they love it.
You ever seen a grown man naked? There's so many airplane jokes.
And I added all those to my stream too. I got all those audio cues for the Streamlabs chatbot. And if any of you guys stream, Streamlabs chatbot is pretty fun.
Surely you can't be serious. Is that what he says, right? Surely you can't be serious. Right?
Yeah. Do you know how to fly this plane and land it? Surely you can't be serious. I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
I haven't seen Airplane in a long time.
Oh, there's so many good quotes.
In such a long time. It is funny though.
So many good quotes.
I miss those. Like, I feel like we really lost touch with like slapstick comedy. Like I feel like they made a move to do slapstick movies again with like the Wayans Brothers movies, but like, those like Leslie Nielsen style, like Naked Gun and what was the Rambo one? I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember what that one is either.
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just watched a really good video on YouTube, and it was, I think it was Cinefix. I don't know if you've ever seen that channel. They're very, very good. And it was on, the director of the Shaun of the Dead and all those Simon Pegg movies. What the hell's his name? He did Baby Driver.
Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
It was on Edgar Wright and using visuals to make jokes.
Yeah, he's so great.
He's so good at it. And the part of the video was on modern comedies basically just being dialogue. And it's just, there's no visual comedy at all. It's just two people talking, and it's static camera, and it's using all the
kind of Judd Apatow style. Just
it's just the dialogue is what makes it funny. Whereas Edgar Wright, the dialogue is funny, but it's also, you've got people coming into the frame kind of goofy. You got things leaving the frame. You've got, quick camera movements. You got zooms. Like he's using the full medium. And
he does some cool things with like backgrounds too, like where like add like touches of color that that come in and out. Or I saw some stuff from Baby Driver that was really cool.
Yeah, that was a good movie. That was a really good movie. Not super funny, but it was just like a good, solid, entertaining flick.
And it was fun in its way. Like I like those kinds of. We're so like off topic. I like those like very driven movies. The kind of like pop 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 like. Like I was just telling my friends, we were talking about kung fu movies, and it was like, have you seen The Raid? Have you seen The Raid?
No.
Oh, it's amazing. Like, it's like kung fu movies. I don't know if you were ever into kung fu movies, but I used to be like very into kung fu movies, and they kind of took a backseat. I feel like to Thai kickboxing movies, like Ong Bak became like a really popular movie, and this Indonesian movie called The Raid came out of nowhere, and it is like nonstop, like pumped up. Like super, it's basically like these cops, like SWAT cops in Indonesia. They like go into this like apartment complex that is like it's like known bad news, right? And they're like, we finally like got a reason to go in here and arrest somebody. We're gonna go clean this shit up, right? And they get in there, and it's literally just like a building full of bad guys, right? Like top to bottom, right?
Yes.
And they're just like running through
like
this
Kill
thing.
Bill style.
Yeah, and they're just running through this motherfucker, kicky punching everybody they can, throwing people off banisters, getting them with meat hooks, and just getting their asses kicked the whole time. It is amazing. It's a great film. But I forgot where I was going. I got so
I'm into it. Like, what happened?
I got so carried away, but it's amazing. It's an amazing movie. What were we talking about before? Baby Driver, Edgar Wright, funny movies.
I love this. I love when you're in a conversation. You're like, wait a second. How the hell did we get here? Like, what were we talking about?
I had a connection.
Yeah, it's like, we were talking about old people watching Twitch.
Yeah,
that's what we were talking about.
We were talking. Even before that, we weren't even. We were talking about you streaming with Julia.
Yeah, we were talking about cooking.
Cooking.
Good Lord.
But this movie's great, and somehow it connects with all this stuff. I have no idea.
That is awesome.
I have no idea. I'm gonna re-listen to this thing and be like, "You're an idiot."
That's what. It, damn it.
Oh man,
incongruities.
But you need to watch The Raid.
Okay, watch.
It's called The Raid Redemption.
Raid
it's
Redemption.
Indonesian.
All right,
it's
on the list.
It's incredible. Like, you should watch it tonight. I know you won't, but you should.
I should, and I will not.
Yeah, you definitely will not, but you definitely should. It's so good. God, that's gonna drive me nuts. Like, all night. Like,
that is so funny.
Like, until I listen to it back, I'm gonna be like, why?
Well, you were into kung fu movies.
I was into kung fu movies. We were talking about airplanes.
Yeah, just
visual
directors.
Oh, yeah, I think it's because, like, I know why I was saying it. Because we were talking about movies that are, like, driven, right? Like how I said Baby Driver. Like, the thing that, like, the connection I was making was The Raid is, like, nonstop. Like, it's moving forward at a pace that is, like, untenable. Like, it feels like you're going to crash. You know what I mean? And I feel like Baby Driver's a lot of that, too. Where it's, like, there's a few scenes, you know, where like the love scenes where it goes to the diner and stuff, where it kind of slows down for a minute. Yeah. But the majority of that movie, you're just like, especially like the last the last hour or last 30 minutes, whenever they kind of start that last sequence.
Yeah, they're either planning or they're executing.
Yeah, like you were just like, balls, like this is gonna fall apart, and then it does, and it doesn't end, and you're like, balls, like this is really gonna fall apart. You know, it's great, and I think that technique of like just keeping things like just kind of keeping you on your toes, and like you're like, this has got to end. Like this has got to end. Yeah. Like it feels so good in movies, you know. Like it really is so fun to watch.
Here's another thing that I don't have the information off the top of my head, but that movie where it was first person.
Oh, Lucky Logan. Lucky
something lucky. Yeah. Yell at us in the comments below.
Yeah. Finally,
you
finally
idiots. You two morons. The name of the movie was bleh.
Yeah, I will say this. I'll say it again at the end of the show. Leave us a comment, and you can actually email us at techyeahpodcast@gmail.com. I've had that set up for like weeks.
Yeah.
But I have never mentioned it on the podcast.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
Yeah, but if you have any questions, or you just want to say hi,
or just rant,
or you just want to rant at us for being idiots.
Yeah, that's our complaint line.
Yeah, like just techyeahpodcast@gmail. Feel free to blow it up. And if it's a good email, I'll read it. If it's a bad email, if you email me,
if it's a good bad email, we should read it too.
If it's worth reading, I'll read it on the show.
Love it. All right, one more actual technology thing from this week. I made a purchase. I got a GoPro. I went with an older version just because I wanted to save a little bit of money, and I don't want to have to deal with 4K at whatever frames, massive file size. But I got a Hero 4 Silver, which is the one with the little LCD screen on the back, and a kit from this company called N-Flight Cam, like letter N Flight, and it's a mount and an audio cable, so I'll be able to take in-plane footage of my flights in real life with all of the audio from the tower in between me and the CFI or whatever, which I'm really excited about.
So does the plane put out a line out for recording?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah, because I mean, it's so noisy in there. So you have to, like, everyone in the plane is wearing a headset.
They're all tapping into that line.
They're all into the same line. So you've got a microphone in, and then you've got a audio out. And it's a complex system that they have in that for the audio. So you have multiple radios coming in, and then you've got intercom in between everybody in the plane. Then that is split from front to rear. So you can, if you're saying like, hey, we're running low on gas, we have to take this down quickly, and you don't want your passengers to hear you, you can make it just pilot, co-pilot. And then you've got obviously the radio communications with the tower. So this cord...
Can you just talk in the back?
Yeah. If you've got them split out, you can...
Can you be like, let's join the Mile High Club, baby.
Yeah.
Grab that blanket.
Not in these planes. There's not enough room for that.
You'd be surprised.
That's true. People are flexible.
Yeah, people are
creative.
Very creative when they...
Yeah, the creative lovers amongst us maybe could pull it off. But the plan is to get some YouTube content and kind of match that with the sim and show side by side how similar and dissimilar they are.
Yeah, that's cool. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So I'm excited to show you that just to see what you think of the setup. And
yeah, I'm interested to see how it comes about. I'm doing some different stuff on my stream right now too, because I had to give Mike back his second cam, his C920. So, but I actually have like an older, like a knockoff action cam. So I'm gonna try and use it as a webcam. It's wider.
Okay.
Yeah, they're wider than the 920s. So, and I have mounts for it and stuff. So I'm gonna see if I can finagle that into being, because the lighting's pretty. Like I got lights and stuff, so lighting shouldn't really be an issue. So I'm hoping that I can make that work.
But those should be better than the webcam, shouldn't they?
You would think, right? That's what I mean. Like, well,
I don't. That sensor's bigger on those action cams.
It is, but they do have trouble with low light because they're faster than webcams. Like webcams has low frame rates.
Okay.
Right, so it's easier for them to process.
Yeah, but you should be able to lower the frame rates on even like a generic action camera.
Yeah,
right?
but I don't think I have to, because I think the light's good enough. With
you've got
my
light
lighting
boxes,
going.
yeah,
my light that you should be able to record fine. So if you check out my streams, I'll probably do a little bit of building like models this weekend. So well, that's going to be next weekend for people that are listening. But you'll get to see me test it out if you want to jump in.
But I think the key with all this stuff for you guys that might be interested in streaming or even in watching other streams is that it is a constant evolution of trying things out and finding your little niche on not only what your content is, but how to present it too.
Yeah, I think how to present it to like the funnest part.
Yeah.
I really think
it's a puzzle.
It's such a puzzle. It's a puzzle to how are you going to get the audio to work? How are you going to get everything to kind of land where you want it to at the levels you want it to, integrate multiple videos, capture gameplay or capture whatever you want to bring in. It's a constant puzzle, and it's a lot of fun. I would say, I gave out the email earlier, but if you wanted to leave a comment or leave an email, like we kind of do enjoy talking about our streams. So I don't want to go into it right now, but yeah, if you want to hear about that stuff, like let us know, because I think we could have a good time talking about that and kind of explaining kind of some of our decisions behind why we stream, how we do, when we do, or kind of the issues that came up when we were kind of solving the puzzle for ourselves. Yeah,
and we've both done kind of a bunch of different types of content as well. So even if you're not into live streaming on Twitch, if you've got it, a podcast, making a podcast, or YouTube videos, or whatever the case may be, photoshopping, like we've both dabbled in enough of it where if you've got a question or want to take your content in a different direction, we could at least steer you in the right direction to get an answer if we don't have the answer. Because it can be frustrating if you're looking down like, okay, I want to do this, but I have no idea how to do it, or what software I need, or what hardware I might need, or is what I have enough.
It can be tough. And it can be tough to, like, a lot of things that I've solved, like, have required multiple people with a lot of different experience to kind of give me a hint in the right direct. Like, everyone's problems are so unique to their stream that it's so hard to just be like, oh, I'll just Google the answer. Because how do you Google, like, alerts only fire at X times, test always correct, audio file plays incorrect. You know, like you're just like this. None of this is giving me any answers, or like
you can't even ask Jeeves that question.
No, web crawler had nothing to say. All right, guys, let's jump into the news we've all been dying to not hear, and what you probably assumed we were going to talk about. It was iPhones.
Oh, Apple.
Oh, iPhones.
Oh, Apple.
Now, like, I guess we'll start like top level, right? Like, I have all the details here. If you want to like look at them all, you can hear my details.
It's a lot of details.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys heard the details, but I probably shouldn't do that. It's probably annoying to hear. But I got
not as annoying as the details.
Not as annoying as the details. But I would say let's start with like a top level. Bill, how did you feel about? Did you watch the whole keynote?
I didn't watch the entire thing, but I watched way too much of it.
Yeah, I couldn't make it through the whole thing either.
Holy crap, I hated it. From the absolute beginning, I was just... And we've said this before. Tony and I love Apple. We love the company. We love what they do in general. We respect what they do. I have an iMac. My wife's got an iPhone. I don't know what your Apple product... I mean, what do you have?
Currently, I have no Apple.
Okay.
But... I'll qualify that. Say I don't love Apple, but I do, as Bill said, respect the work they've done, the devices they've put out, and especially the marketing they've done.
Yeah, we're neither of us are blind Apple haters or bashers, but I thought that this presentation was so garbage from beginning to end that it made me, as a marketing person, almost physically ill.
How do you start this thing with 20 minutes on how your new Apple Watch is a life alert?
Oh my God.
Right?
What the actual... Okay, Tim Cook, I get that you're freaking 70 years old, and they didn't even like tell you who these guys were. They just said, and now here's Jeff. Like, who the hell is Jeff? And why is he also super old? And why is he telling us about how the new iPhone or the new iWatch is going to help you if you have a fall?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We'll find your heart issues before you know you have them.
Yeah, if you have heart palpitations, the new iWatch will notify your healthcare provider. Oh my God.
It was so maddeningly like a life alert ad. It's like who thought this was a good idea? It was
oh my goodness. Yeah, and it is water resistant up to 2 meters, which is great for your walk-in tub.
Yeah, it was so strange.
Who is this for?
I don't know. It was so strange.
But Tim Cook, why are you wearing white tennis shoes?
Yeah, Tim Cook, I mean, that guy looks terrible.
Yeah.
Like, he looks terrible. And he looks like he's part of my dad's, like, rummy group. Right?
Like,
you know,
none
like
of these...
Dude, they play cribbage at lunch at
absolutely.
Apple, right?
None of these guys look like high-power tech executives. Oh, my God. So it was Tim, Jeff, and Phil. And Phil, he was the guy they brought out for the iPhone, and that guy looked like he was a insurance salesman, and not a good one, like a very average insurance salesman.
Like third-party insurance.
Yeah,
sales. He can sell you every brand of insurance.
Yeah.
Right?
Like at least Tim and Jeff had their shirts untucked, so they were kind of like, hey, look at us, we're cool, and we're techie, and then Phil comes out with his shirt tucked in. Like, what a dork.
Yeah, I didn't understand it all through the whole thing. I mean, I didn't watch the whole thing. I honestly made it right before they announced the XRs. And it was just like, I can't keep watching this. Because I was like, one of my friends at work who I was talking to is an Apple fanboy. Yeah. And I just kept talking shit to him. And I was just like, why? Like, I got to stop. Like, this is... There's no reason for me.
I shouldn't be this mad.
Yeah, there's no reason for you to be like, what is this garbage? What is this garbage? You know what? It's just like, I got to shut up. And just turn this thing off. He literally said, "No one's forcing you to watch it," and I'm like, "You're right. I'm sorry. I'm turning this off now."
Right? I'm just having a lot of fun.
Yeah, like this is too far. I've gotten too far.
Yeah, a guy in my team was wearing an Apple Watch, and it's like it is 32% larger, and I'm like, James, how big of an idiot do you look now with your 33% smaller phone or watch?
What a loser! You're gonna die.
Yeah,
and your watch isn't even gonna know you're dead.
Idiot.
Your watch won't even know you're dead, dummy.
Yeah, when you trip getting up too fast after watching Matlock, your watch isn't going to help you.
Murder, She Wrote, Jessica Lansbury all day. All right. So there's our high level review. But let's talk about what these phones are going to be. So I got some specs here. So we got 3 new phones coming. Okay, we got the iPhone XS, the iPhone XS Max, and the iPhone XR.
And before you Apple lovers start yelling at us, we're purposely saying X and not 10 because that is stupid.
It's an X.
It's 10.
But it is an X.
It is an X, I know, which is, I call it X. I say X too.
Yeah, it's an X.
Yeah.
If they wanted it to be 10, they should have written 10.
I agree.
We're not in Rome.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the Roman Empire fell.
Yeah,
guys.
they failed.
Yeah.
Right?
And I'm Italian, and I'm admitting that.
Yeah. They're still in Italy. It's fine. Yeah. Doesn't mean we've got to use Roman numerals. Okay. So the XS is a 5.8 Retina. Well, it's true. 5.8 Retina display.
Thank you, Samsung.
Dual cameras. Yeah. Dual 12 megapixel wide angle telephoto cameras. 7 megapixel true depth camera with Face ID and A12 bionic chip with next gen neural engine. 2 meters of water resistance. Up to 512 gigs of storage. HDR display. I don't care about any of this.
I don't care about any of that.
3D touch. Like, I'm looking through the spec sheet, and I'm just like...
Nothing. There's nothing there. And 150 million freaking people are going to buy that damn phone.
Well, you know what really bothers me? And it's funny, because I was watching Unbox Therapy. They were talking about it. They don't tell you what size the batteries are in any of these phones.
No, yeah. Oh, my God. Well, they said that the smaller of the 3...
The R.
Yeah, that one has a smaller battery than the other 2.
The best battery life.
See, like, what are you? So this came from an article.
I got like 100 pages here.
From this is Jeff Fowler from the WAPO, and his article is very good. He's a tech columnist, and he's a pretty funny guy. I like his stuff. But the only thing I'll read from his article is the sub headline. Says your new Apple iPhone choices are big and pricey, bigger and a little less pricey, or biggest and most expensive ever.
Yeah, I mean...
How good of a recap of the phone choices is that?
Yeah, and it's crazy because, like, in what world is $750? You're like, this is the phone for everybody. Like,
yeah.
Like, do we really, like... Is poverty just not real? Right? Like, is minimum wage is too high then?
Well, look,
if $750 is the phone for everybody, then we pay everybody too much money or something.
Well, dude, it's like those billboards you see on the freeway. That's it's the new Mercedes C-Class, and it says $350 a month. Yeah. That's the only thing people really care about. Is the phone is $40 a month. It's like, who cares? Like, that's they spend more on streaming subscriptions than they are on their $1,400 phone. They don't even care. Think of just like the personal debt people have, the credit cards. Like, it's just credit.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably going to pay more than $40 a month, right? Because $40 a month would be like $804, and 4 is $160, so like $960 for the phone. You're probably,
okay, yeah, so it's like
probably digging you a little bit more than that, like
40 to
45
50,
or something like that, because they'll probably want to get, like they'll want to get their money on it.
Yeah,
but I agree with what you're saying. But that's the thing too. Like, people got to remember, like, so Apple's in 3rd place right now with phones.
Yeah, which I was very surprised in. I think they've sold over 1 billion or some, like, it's in the billions of iPhones, but they are 3rd place.
And so the reasons they're giving for being in 3rd place, or the reasons I've seen, is that
Apple's giving, or that industry,
that the industry is giving.
Okay,
is that the subsidies that carriers are giving for phones just aren't as good now as they used to be, right? For a while, you could give free iPhones. Whatever new iPhone was, you could just give them for free.
Yeah, it was like, $200 or like $200 was the upgrade, and they waived that after 2 years
because they baked it into the contract, right?
Yeah.
Now everyone's on these no contract, pay as you go, but you still got to pay the 2-year lease price on your phone, right? But it's more expensive because it's not cooked in, right? It's not. It's like it's broken out into its own payment, and it ends up being more, right? The subsidies aren't as generous as they were when the phone carrier was allowed to lock you into that contract for that time, right? Probably because the phone carrier was getting their money through fees.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's a have to. I think it's more they did, like, competition-wise. You know,
Probably
just
true.
it just takes one company to go, we're doing away with contracts, and you know, some talking head on the commercial to rip up a fake contract. You know, like,
John Legera,
Yeah.
T-Mobile guy,
yeah,
riding skateboards around, being like, "No contract."
contracts, dude.
Yeah, that dude is so nuts. I follow him on Twitter. He is nuts. He's a nuts person, but it's pretty good. But so subsidies haven't been as strong, so it discourages purchase of these like premium handsets in a lot of ways. So people that have more fairly priced handsets kind of have had a step up or a better way to kind of enter the market, and you know, the fact that they don't sell any value based phones. You know, like with phone quality getting so high, there's a very strong market for like $300 to $600 mid range handsets with kind of premium features. You know, I don't know if you've heard of a Pocophone.
No.
Okay, so
The
it's
hell is that?
You know what Xiaomi is?
No.
So Xiaomi is a Chinese company. That's MI is like the logo. It's just a little M, a little I.
Okay.
And you'll see like some of the people here have Xiaomi phones.
Okay.
So Xiaomi makes a phone, and it's basically a duplicate of the S9. All right. Internals are exactly. It's the same Snapdragon chipset. It's
Same RAM.
same RAM. It's the screen's not as good, obviously. Like you make some compromise. Speakers aren't as good, but it's $300 new. Okay?
Sweet.
Yeah, it's a kick-ass phone for that price, right? And it's like, you know, there's just this new marketplace for phones that fall into this kind of value power range that it's like it's crazy to hear Apple be like, "Oh, we have a value phone now too," and it's $750, and it's not as good. And you're just like, yeah, it's just like, come on, like how out of touch can you possibly be to think that that's
They're
value?
$1 trillion out of touch. I mean, honestly, I think they're so big, they have so many different people to answer to that they really, even if most of the people there think that might be a better strategy, they can't get buy off on it. Because there's so many people willing to pay, and if you're saying, okay, well, now we're going to have 15% fewer people buy this next generation of phone because they realize that the battery life is crap and that the cords kink and break. So how are we going to make up that 15%? Let's raise the cost of the phone because the remaining 85% of the people are going to buy it at whatever price it is.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not 85%, but the people that are going to buy it are going to buy it.
They're going to buy it. Yeah. It just, oh my God. The whole thing was so tone deaf and just blatantly gross.
Yeah, so gross.
Like I wrote down, so I rewrote a transcript of the entire thing. This was the entire deal. I condensed it into one line. It's that very bottom line right there. Most blank ever.
Where is it most?
On the right here.
On the Post-it.
Yeah.
Most blank ever.
Yeah. That is basically the entire transcript for the
I
entire
love your note.
the entire show was just, this is the most whatever they're talking about ever. And that's exactly what they said last year. It's exactly what they said the year before that. This is our best looking iPhone ever. This is our fastest iPhone ever. This is the biggest screen ever.
You don't have to qualify any of it. This is the strongest glass ever used on a
what
phone ever.
What are you guys talking about?
Yeah. Nothing's qualified. Nothing.
No.
There's no facts. It's just like, it's the best. It's greatly. It's the best one you're ever gonna see. You know?
And it's gonna be like that next year, and it's gonna be like that the year after that until people stop buying the phones.
I hope people stop buying the phones.
I really hope they do because I want them to innovate again. Like they've stopped innovating because now they have again they don't have market share necessarily, but they kind of do. I mean,
they have enough. They have a profitable business, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard to want to turn that off. It's hard to be like, hey, let's take this wildly profitable enterprise and let's just make a left turn here, you
right?
know, like,
and that's where it's Steve Jobs. You know, it was partially his genius and then partially where they were at as a company. Like they needed the innovation because they were such a tiny part of the industry. What were they? I mean, it was like 2% of computers were Macs at some point. Like it was just like a tiny.
They weren't doing jack.
Just a tiny little percent. They were the outlier. And then you have Steve Jobs come in and do a bunch of weird stuff that people are like, "Well, this will never work." And then all of a sudden, it's amazing. Like, Jobs is like, "Okay, I want all of my records consolidated into one little playing card sized thing. Make it happen, everybody." And you can argue whether or not it was his genius or the engineers that he had, but he was still kind of the driving force in those innovations, and that's what made Apple what it is today. And now it's just they're resting on their laurels, and we're getting nothing interesting out of it.
Yeah, there hasn't been. I can't remember the last interesting Apple product.
No, and the iWatch is probably the best example of that. I mean, it's just a poorly executed idea that no one really asked for.
Yeah, and it's such like a Me Too, like jump on everyone's making smartwatches.
Yeah.
Let's make a smartwatch too.
And let's not make it even as good or as interesting. Yeah. Like, I mean, the Samsung Gear one is more interesting as a actual watch. The iWatch is just like your screen number 1B for your iPhone. It's not like a standalone interesting product. It's just, hey, look at everything you can get on your phone, but in a smaller screen, that you're whatever. It's so lame.
Now it's got a heart logo on it.
God dang, man.
Now it shows
you. If you have a fall.
Yeah, and now if you have a fall, you can tap on it.
Which is just so stupid to make that. And it was a big part of the presentation,
it was
too.
It was the majority.
Just
the biggest single part was
how many people of that age are going to be buying these watches, Apple?
You can get your EKG from your phone.
Oh, my God.
And you take that. I can only imagine, like, when you go to the doctor and you're like, hey, I Googled this.
Yeah.
And I think I have cancer. Your doctor's like, you don't have cancer. Stop Googling things. Yeah. I can only imagine the people that are going to be walking into their doctor be like, hey, doc, my Apple Watch EKG said that I've got some real heart issues. And he's like, we did a test last week. Your heart is fine. Okay. And he's like, no, I'm still getting that uneven heartbeat on my Apple Watch, sir. Like, I need a statin ASAP or I'm going to die. And the doctor's like, you're cool, man. Like, you need to relax. It's just like, it's going to be like these people that Google their symptoms times a million coming in like they're doctors. They're medical experts, right?
Oh, God.
They're all going to be on the Apple forum talking about how their doctor won't support their heart disease and it must be because of fucking Trump's healthcare plan or something.
Jeez. I don't know. I went with the Samsung phone because it seems like they're trying a lot harder, even though they sell more phones than Apple does.
They're definitely a step ahead of Apple as far as like putting up the numbers.
Yeah, but they seem to be doing things like they're innovating. They're at least trying things like the curved screen. Like, I don't really need that on my phone, but it was like they're kind of thinking of ways to make it work. Or, hey, we tried something different. Arguably, it's pointless, but they at least broke from convention.
Supposedly, they're doing a fold-out phone.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
So it folds out into a tablet.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I did see pictures of that too, yeah.
We'll see if it comes to fruition. It's more like, Samsung sells all these displays.
Yeah, they want to push display technology.
Yeah, so they want to make a new display tech, so they make it on one of their phones.
Right.
And then hopefully, third parties decide they want to make this, and then they can sell the displays to everybody. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how bad that was.
It was really bad. And I was actually, our story the week before was, hey, we got a date for the new Apple event. And I was excited for it because I think they're such a huge company, that we talked about it being the first $1 trillion company. And, it's a big deal. They kind of drive trends to some extent and blah, blah, blah. And to have that be so off the mark and so blatantly off the mark.
It's dog shit.
It is dog shit. And okay, I don't want to go too far down this because it starts going down a political ideology kind of thing. But it was not lost on me that every single image that they showed behind the presenters was the math book. Like, here is everybody except for white guys.
All the colors of the rainbow.
It was either a woman or somebody of color.
I mean, it was mostly women of color.
Yeah,
right?
and sometimes both.
And sometimes both, yeah.
And it was so blatant that what they were trying to do, which if they didn't do it, you'd get backlash for it. And if you do it, you get backlash for it. So it's like a no-win situation, but it was just so obvious.
I'm gonna go down a no-win situation right now. Okay, everyone's gonna hate this shit.
Okay,
I'm about to say.
Okay, go.
But the fact that like this Colin Kaepernick ad, okay, and this Apple shit, the fact that people are okay, anybody that tweeted anything about that Nike ad is a fucking loser. All right, the fact that anybody thinks that these fucking rich white people at Nike like put Colin Kaepernick in their ad campaign because they support his cause is an idiot. Okay, like that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like they did this because they have analysts that did math that told them they would sell more fucking shoes if they put them in an ad than if they didn't. Exactly. Okay, it's profit driven. It's entirely profit driven.
Yes,
it's not about a cause. It's not about we work in a giant company. We don't do things because we believe in them. We do things because someone told us it's going to make us money. Right. Okay? And that's what Nike does. Nike has children making your shoes. Yeah. It costs them pennies on the dollar to make Jordans that they then sell to these ethnic communities and make them kill each other over these effing shoes. And you want to tell me that they care about brutality? Like you're full of shit. And if you're at home being like, you know, oh, NFL doesn't care about America. I can't believe these people support Colin Kaepernick. It's like they're trying to make money. Stop being an idiot. Like, stop being the other side of this equation.
It's so calculated.
That lets them polarize this thing, right?
Yeah.
Because you've given them the fuel to tell the world that if you don't buy Nikes, you're a racist, right? Because you are a bunch of loud-ass racists, right? Like, shut up. Like, just shut up. You don't have to talk about it. You don't have to have a comment. You know what I mean? Like just shut up. Like, there's no reason to get up in arms about this fact. You know, it's like Nike's trying to make money, and anyone that's trying to, like, fight for either side of this debate is already lost in the sea. And it's the same thing Apple's doing. It's white, corporate, rich, trillionaire company, right, that doesn't pay their taxes, that is not taking care of the environment. And that they're like, look at this woman of color running around like with the button. Like, look at all these people of color behind us in this photo. And it's like, you're not included in their plans other than you're a potential consumer. They want to make money. What bothers me about it is I just hate virtue signaling. I do too.
Oh my God, I hate it so much. That is one of the things I hate more than anything is freaking virtue signaling. It's the worst.
It drives me nuts. It drives me crazy. And you know, like, I get it. Like, the thing I think is super sad about all of this is it's like, I do think that a lot of people approach these things because they have empathy, or they want to have empathy. They want to do the right thing, right? They really do kind of embrace this social justice culture because they want it to be fair. They want people to be treated well, right? They don't do it because they want to be annoying and virtue signal. And, you know, some people do, but I think there is a groundswell of people that do want to be good people.
Yeah.
They've just been convinced.
I don't know.
Well, just like anybody, they've been convinced that being a good person means you believe in these things, right? And they're young people.
Yeah,
right?
that is true. But I think if you try to be a good person by telling everybody how good of a person you are, I think you're not a good person.
I don't think everyone's telling them how good of a person they are.
Well, but making it blatant that we have a bunch of colored women in the back of our presentation.
No, that's what I mean. I don't think Tim Cook is a young, hopeful, empathetic person, right? But I think, you know, your friend's stepdaughter, you know, that says some dumb stuff at dinner about how everyone's racist and Trump's an asshole, right? I think she's just trying to be a good person, right?
But yeah, I don't. Okay, so
you know what I'm saying though.
Maybe
I don't think all college kids are bad people because they
no,
believe these things, right?
And I don't think they're inherently evil, but I think that if you're so concerned about showing people how good of a person you are, that is the wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's a hierarchy of who's, because Tim Cook is gay.
Yeah.
Because I saw some articles, on that topic about, the ethnicity of that, which is, kind of why I brought it up, because I did read that article. But it was on, Tim Cook is up there, he's an old white guy and standing in front. He's gay. He's one of your, protective, especially in Silicon Valley. Yeah. Just because he's less protected than the people that they're showing behind, which is why I hate all of it. I don't care about it's so hypocritical. There was an article that just came out a couple of weeks ago that Harvard was turning away Asian applicants because there were too many Asian students in the school. How stupid? Who cares? Who cares that there are too many of anything? It's if someone's underrepresented in a specific organization, you shouldn't be forced into it.
You want to hear the most virtue signal thing I've seen?
Oh God, yeah.
So were you here when we played? Oh, you were sitting out when we played Spider-Man, but you were here for part of it.
For part of it, yeah.
So I saw 3 stories today and yesterday, basically saying that Spider-Man is crummy because you have to support the police in it.
Oh no! Give it a break.
Yeah,
people.
this game's great, but it's terrible that you have to support the police.
Oh my god!
And I'm just oh my god, this is the worst. This is the most virtue signally, how sad a person you must be to think that this is a hot take.
Yeah.
And it's just so gross that we've kind of gotten there. And I think people that write things like that are bad people, but like I'm saying, I do think I'm very hopeful right now, for the future, for people. I think that we're in kind of a state of disarray currently, right? But I think this is going to kind of shuffle down into a better place. I really do.
Yeah, I hope cooler heads prevail.
I hope so too, and I hope that this newfound awareness of politics and of corruption, I hope it sticks around. Right? I think it's a good thing. I really do.
Yeah.
And
it's the fringe 15% on both ends that are getting the most attention, and most of us are not that nutty on either side. And I hope, and it's annoying that it's spilling into the stuff that we like.
Yeah,
that's the part that's kind of the reason to even bring all this stuff up, because it was talked about, and I don't care. I mean, I noticed it because it was so blatant, what they were doing. It's just like the math book thing. You have the kid in the wheelchair, you got the Indian kid, you got the black kid, you got the Asian kid, you got the white redheaded girl. It's it's obvious, and I understand why companies do that and why it's important. But the fact that people are still yelling about it,
it's crazy.
It's just is no one pissed off at the $1,400 phone?
Yeah,
that's what I want to be talking about. Is the phone that's more than a laptop?
Yeah, they said the $750 one's for everybody.
Yeah,
how is that the value phone?
Oh my god,
what is going on here?
Yes, we all saw that the black girl handed off the clicker to the white gay guy, and that is somehow a horrible thing for somebody somewhere, but. $1,400 phone.
Doesn't matter. Still buy it.
That is bad for more people. More people are negatively affected by that.
And that's the starting. It's amazing that they keep finding ways to charge more for these phones. It's amazing.
When is it going to freaking end?
I mean, I think they're getting to a critical mass too.
Yeah.
I think the really thing that's going to happen is Huawei's going to find their way into the U.S. and Xiaomi, these two Chinese giant companies. Huawei already surpassed Apple, and they can't even sell in the United States.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right?
It's crazy.
They can't even get a hold of probably the third largest consumer base for phones. Right? I'd say China and India are probably larger.
They have to be larger, yeah. And Apple knows that, and they're terrified.
Yeah, and then it's funny that their solution was no, we'll make a value phone too. It's no one in India is going to have a iPhone XR, okay? It's not happening.
But I think because Apple is so big that it might take them longer to react to market. Like they're reacting now, and we might see it a year or two down the road, and that may be an excuse for why these phones were kind of, bleh. Just they don't have anything new to add because they're looking a year, 2 years down the road.
Well, and I think the thing we got to remember with Apple too is like, they just became $1 trillion company, but that doesn't mean that they're like still on positive trajectory.
Right.
Like the Titanic can keep speed until it sinks. You know what I mean? Like it's going to take so long for changes to hit that company in a way that is meaningful and noticeable. Because they're just so massive, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, and I'll be honest, like it's hard not to want to adopt the iPhone. Just because everyone has it. Like I kind of want to get iMessages and see that emoji that I can't see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not enough to like drive me there. All right, we're getting to end times.
Okay,
I've got another hot take on you. So I've got
one more, a little tangent, and it has to do with the aforementioned Spider-Man video game.
Oh no, what did we do?
This is a hilarious story. We needed to end on a high note.
All right, yeah, we got like we're gonna get if anyone listens to this, we're gonna get torched for the past 20 minutes.
Oh boy.
They're going to call us all kinds
Bring
of
it on. I mean, if we get torched, it'll just mean that somebody listened to this.
Yeah. Like, honestly, if you think we said anything that was like that inappropriate, I for one, invite you to like.
Let's talk about it.
Talk to us about it.
Yeah.
Like, I'll bring you on.
Oh, I will too.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Like, if someone was comfortable with that, we could like sit down and talk.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we say anything that outrageous. But also, you don't have to listen.
Yeah. You're probably not listening.
Yeah, you're probably not listening. Especially at this point.
Whoever we're referring to probably did not hear this.
All right, so let's hear your spiders.
Okay, so there's this guy. His name is Tyler Schultz. And he was dating a girl for a long time. And he wanted to propose to his girlfriend whose name, the names are public. So Madison is his girlfriend's name. And they were both video gamers, which is very sweet.
That is very sweet.
I think gamer couples are very sweet. So fitting with the, like Twitter, Instagram worthy culture that we're in, he wanted to come up with some creative way to propose to Madison.
Madison seems like a red flag name to me.
Maybe.
I don't know why. I hear Madison and I'm like, ooh.
Not that this should be an indicator one way or the other, but she is a personal trainer. Madison, personal trainer.
Maybe it's like Ashley Madison. Maybe I get.
Yeah.
I don't know, but okay.
So anyway, Tyler is a resourceful little fella. I don't know why he might not be little.
Maybe he's a lad. Let's call him a lad. He's a
resourceful
young lad.
So he contacts Insomniac Games via Twitter and asked if they could help him with a proposal to his then girlfriend that he was going to propose to. So Insomniac said, "This is very interesting. We would love to help you." So they put an Easter egg into Spider-Man. And if you go to a theater marquee in the game, and I don't know where it is in the game. I mean, I'm sure it's somewhere on
the streets. It's on the streets.
Yeah, what am I thinking of? Fifth Ave, Broadway. It's probably on their version of Broadway.
That's where my posse's at.
90s kids. The marquee says, "Maddie, will you marry me?" in all capital letters. So that was very, very sweet. Unfortunately, by the time the game actually came out, they had broken up.
So I saw like the headline for the story, and like immediately two questions pop into my head. Okay. One, did she not know you were planning to propose to her? Like I get that like it's supposed to be a surprise and all this, right? But it seems like that's a conversation you have a lot before the event. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Believe
me, I've dated enough girls to know that like they're interested to know your marriage plans pretty quickly, right? Like you start dating somebody for like a year and it's like, so where did you see this going? And like, when are you thinking this is going to happen? Right? Like I've never been dating someone for a long time and they're just like, so, you're 3 years in and you've never talked about.
So I mean, that's a sad ending, right? I mean,
is.
it's like he had this girlfriend that he loved. He wanted to marry her. He goes through this trouble coming up with this creative idea. It works for him. Now this obviously there's patches are possible.
Did you think he was going to surprise her with it?
Yeah, the idea was, they'd be playing the game and like, hey, go check this out. And, she would look over and it would say, would you marry me? And it got a big thing. I mean, it's a cute idea. It's a very unique idea. So as sad as that is that his proposal is immortalized in a video game, again, not really because of patches, but it got a little bit worse for our man, Mr. Schultz, because not only did Madison break up the relationship before the game was released, Madison dumped Tyler for Tyler's brother.
Oh, yeah, like.
So Insomniac reaches out and says, "Look, that sucks. We will happily change it. We will erase that from the game with a patch." And Tyler said no, and instead asked for Insomniac to put a tribute up to his deceased grandmother. So that's what they ended up doing. But I thought that was a cute, hilarious, disturbing, effed up story all in one. It was
so many questions in my head.
Me too.
Like immediately, I'm
too.
just like,
I mean, it's like how many relationships that begin with one of those gimmicky, proposals last.
Yeah, it just seems like a young person that's watched too many movies.
Yeah,
and it's just like, he knows that he doesn't got this thing unlocked, right? And he's just like,
I've got to make this like a big.
I know what'll do it.
Yeah,
right? Like I'll do this huge thing,
this big romantic display,
this grand display of affection that will show her my heart is true.
Should I like skywrite it? Should I make like a big heart on the side of the Empire State Building? What should I do? I know. I'll put her name in a marquee in a video game that we're gonna play together.
And you know why it didn't work out? That dude probably put so much pressure on that poor girl.
Probably.
You know what I mean? He's just
she ends up banging his brother.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude.
She couldn't deal. She's just like, this guy is like,
sorry, Tyler.
It's just too much. I could not hang with what's going on around here.
Sorry, Tyler.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
All right. With that, I
anyway.
thought we were going to end with something happy. You're like, I got a happy story to end
I said
on.
lighter note.
This is going to be hilarious. That got super dark. I was right on with these Madisons. Don't trust them. And Tyler, you're a real bitch. All right? I was going to put that
be a little bitch, Tyler.
Tyler, you're a real bitch.
You brought this on yourself. This is your fault.
Yeah, for sure. Your brother's an asshole. Don't get me wrong.
Brother's a dick.
Yeah.
Madison sucks, and you're a bitch.
But your brother's probably been kicking your ass your whole life. Let's
probably.
be honest.
It's probably your older brother,
Yeah.
and he's just swooping in.
Yeah. Slanging it, though. Mr. Steal Your Girl. It's like, he's like the pit bull of brothers.
Christmas is going to be fun.
Yeah. Oh, my God. It's so gross. All right.
So that's Tech Yeah.
That's Tech Yeah. This has been probably the best episode we've had.
And probably the worst.
And the worst. All right. Trademark sign off. Bill, where can people find you?
Twitch.tv/BILL4LE and Instagram at the same handle.
All right. I'm Tony. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch. Yeah, that's what they're called. Tone Face Killa, ToneFaceKillah. And yeah, if you want to email us, you can email the podcast at techyeahpodcast@gmail.com.
And if you want to fight us, step up.
And if you want to fight us, and yeah, let's do this. I'm ready to go right now.
I'm ready to go too. I'm amped.
And with that, thank you guys. Love you. And we're gone.
Peace out.